Hey everybody, welcome to Blue Street Custom. So today, a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be doing a workbench shop tour community challenge set out by Brian at Got Fuel's Model Car Garage. Now what he's looking for is for newer people coming into this type of hobby, they may not have the best equipment, they may not have a lot of space. So what he wants to do is show these new people that you don't need expensive equipment. You don't need a huge room to be able to do this type of hobby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time and I'm going to show the way I have my hobby room set up. Now I will be posting links down below. I will be putting little cards up in the corner for you. And these links and cards will bring you to some of the things that I've made, including this YouTube room, which was done on a very, very cheap budget. And these things that I'm going to show you are things that you can do very cheaply, maybe even redesign yourself to fit your needs. This video may be a little lengthy, but hopefully it'll help you guys that are either already in this hobby or just starting in this hobby. So if you're liking this video so far and you like the idea of what's going on, hit that thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because all of it definitely helps me grow and I can just show you more and more as I grow. Also, if you want, I do have links down in the description for my Instagram, so give me a follow there. And I do have a Facebook group, so if you want to follow me there, show me what you're working on. Show me your workspace there if you want. So let's get to the tour and I'll show you where everything all started. Howdy guys, welcome to the cave. I'm Mark and you're watching Blue Street Customs. So first off, here's what I film everything on. Okay, now this phone is pushing 9 or 10 years old. It has next to nothing for storage, and I pretty much have to keep it plugged in all the time. This is a Nexus 5 Android phone, so you don't need anything special, trust me. Now from there, when I do live stream and sometimes some recording, but 99% of my recording is done on this phone, I'll use this little webcam that runs down to the computer with a switching block, and that's what I use for live stream. So other than that, let's get started with the rest of the tour. So first off, I'm going to put some links down in the description of a playlist of me building this addition, which is not done yet, but still working on it. Some unforeseen circumstances, we had to move in here before it was completely done. And just a quick look around. As you can see, things are still not completely done. Bedroom on one side. I don't even have a door. But here we go. So, as you saw, no door. Floor's not even finished yet. Not a big deal. I'll get to it as we have money and as we have materials. So, my nice little Iron Maiden there. Now, milk crates, you can get these very, very cheap or even free if you go visit your grocery stores. A lot of them will just get rid of them. Great storage ideas because you can screw them together. I just use drywall screws. I screw them together and I screw them to the walls. So it starts there, goes all the way up, goes all the way across, and right back down, all the way to the floor. Now, this here, just a cabinet, picked it up on the side of the road. Somebody was throwing it away. I repainted it, repurposed it, good to go. Stereo, well, that's handed down from my parents, but again, shelving, done on milk crates. There's my printer. My computer is on one. I'll show you more in a minute. Most of these milk crates are just storage. You know, I've got various sizes of cardboard that I get from all kinds of different packaging. You know, all kinds of stuff. Some bought and stuff, but a lot of this is dollar store, as you can see. This is all dollar store. Some of it is bought online. This is dollar store, $3. You know, this is old TVs and laptops and computers, so you can use this for lighting, diffusing. You can use it in dioramas for windows, whichever. I got my screws, things like that, a few drones, all my camera equipment when I decide that I want to go outside or do something, you know, just all kinds of stuff. Here I got minis and stuff like that, trail cams, extra boxes. Here I keep a bunch of tools, you know, drill bits, heat gun. I don't remember. This one here is a scanner for a car. This one is a scope. And of course, well, you keep all your paper towels and paper towel rolls and everything else. I got some balsa wood, different things like that. Some overstock of glues, accelerators, bunch of tapes. Of course, I've got some D&D books, a bunch of receipts. You should always keep things like that in order. You know, some reference books. Again, some light bulbs, bunch of my sandpaper, overstock sandpaper. Okay, sorry the lighting's not the best in here. And then a few tools here in the bottom. Garbage bags, things like that. This is all stuff that I've picked up at garage sales. I made this. If I have a video on it, I'll post a link for you if you're interested in that stuff. You know, just all kinds of bottles and stuff. I was trying to make it look like a wizard's castle shelf. You know, like a witch's pantry or something. I made that, and it's full of like little jars of glitter that I got at the dollar store. You know, and a lot of this stuff is all Halloween dollar store stuff. This is just decoration, nothing major. In there is a box full of a whole bunch of old models that I did back when I was 9, 10, 11, 12, in the range. Here's one of the cars that I've done. And if you've been watching my channel, you would have seen that. And if not, the link will be down in the description, and maybe even a card pop-up. Now this isn't fully set up yet, but it does operate. I listen to all my music and my YouTube and movies through it. Here I have a little small diorama, and you could probably see those if I have links, or if I have videos for them. I will put them down in the description as well, so you can watch that. I do things with electronics. I built that cube and programmed the Arduino for it, and it does all kinds of stuff, different patterns, made the whole thing. Again, nothing major to do. What we're looking at is storage. So I've got these shelves from here in Canada at Canadian Tire. Now, I'm pretty sure you can find them at almost any local hardware store. Maybe if you're in the US, something like Harbor Freight and stuff will have them. You know, different places. They're just plastic, very cheap, about a foot deep, nothing major. But here I've got things like, you know, all my diorama stuff, rocks, sand, you know, all kinds of debris and stuff from outside, dirt. Next shelf is mostly my resins. I've got pouring resins, UV resins, the colorings for them, you know, and of course space is somewhat tight, or at least it was at the time before I built this YouTube room. Then up here I've got things like my polymer clays. These are all molds, rubber molds, silicone molds for my resin and stuff, but I've got, you know, more polymer clays and stuff there. Here again, for mainly doing dioramas, I got all kinds of, you know, flockings and stuff and this and that, spray glues, you know, static grass and static grass applicator, which is homemade. And then up here, just more off storage of whatever random odds and ends. My homemade turntable, I'll put a link in the description for that. And up there is just all kinds of electronic stuff that I've torn apart. Some computer fans, wires, all kinds of things up there. Now again, more diorama stuff. You know, some fake trees, plants from the dollar store, you know, coffins and containers, and, you know, EV foam. And again, all of these containers all come from the dollar store. So storage can be done fairly cheaply. Here, this is all things like basswood, balsa wood, these two bins, you know, every type and style you want, popsicle sticks, coffee stir sticks. Here's like more diorama stuff. Here's some EVA foam, some felt, Hot Wheels for doing dioramas, all kinds of different things, some oil paints, mainly for dioramas, but I'll use them for models once in a while. This is all glitters and glass and, you know, all kinds of things. And this is pretty much turned into a dumping ground, which I will have to clean up. But that's two shelves, right? Two shelves and this storage right there. Now, this YouTube room is quite big, but I'm going to be showing you things that can help you out even in a small space. But this room is pretty big. It is 19 by 11 and a half. Built these two benches, both sides. At the time, I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was still doing a lot of dioramas and tabletop gaming stuff, but I've gotten away from that, as you've seen in my videos. I'm more into the models. And then I've got a big bench on this side as well. This one is a little lower than this one. This one is meant more for standing. You can still sit at it, but it's meant more for standing. This one's more for the office chair. All right. An old desk that the in-laws had, and they gave it to me to use. And again, I just use it, all kinds of junk. I've got electronics in there. I've got, you know, wires, flashlights, somebody's Christmas present that I gotta wrap up soon. And this here, I mean, just a drawer. And here in this drawer, I used foam core board from the dollar store, and I made dividers. Now, at the time before I had this YouTube room, that desk is what I did everything on. That tiny little 2.5, 3-foot desk, and it's only about 18, 20 inches wide. And that's what I worked on. That's what I kept everything in until I got in here. Now, back there, I've got all my XPS foam, you know, a bunch of my foam core board and everything like that. But I pick up these sliding drawer shelves from garage sales off of Facebook Marketplace. Now, I've gotten that one. I got that one. Got one over there and one there. And I mean, you can pick them up really cheap. They do come with wheels, but I took the wheels off just because I want them more stationary. Again, I just keep things like random tools in this one. Some printer paper and stuff in this one. More wires, power bars, things like that. This one here has got lined paper and well, that's my candy drawer. I am hypoglycemic, so I keep a lot of candy around. And then here, just more electronic stuff. I build things for my dad. These are for lighthouses. The lights go all the way around. I build stuff. Over in this one here, this one is where my paint booth is. I'll get to that in a second. But here I keep all my extra parts and stuff for my airbrushes, extra needles, cleaning tools. Here's the clips and eyedroppers, extra hoses, and some tape. Here's some automotive paints that I've got. And I've got some candy colors here from Color Horizons. I don't even know if they're around anymore. But that's that. Down here, this is my stepson's drawer. He paints his minis and stuff in here, so he keeps his stuff in here. And then this is just extra UV resin for the 3D printer, which I'll be showing you in a bit. And that's about it. Now, as far as my spray paints, I got a bunch of spray paint down in there. You know, some more automotive paint and reducers and cleaners, my future, you know, floor polish that everybody likes. A box of Hot Wheels that I haven't put up on the wall yet, and you'll see that in a minute. An old printer that I'll probably end up tearing apart for more electronic parts. And then I have a toaster oven for baking my clay. Now, as far as on the bench, well, under the bench, paper towel holders. You always need paper towels, so dollar store paper towel holder, put it up wherever you can. Use up every little bit of space. On the bench, well, I've got one shelf I was showing you that's sitting on the bench. Not a big deal. Pick this up. This is a $285 tool, and I found it at a garage sale, and somebody wanted $25 for it, and the box was still sealed. Well, sorry to say, I jumped on that. Cleaning spot for cleaning my resin parts after they're printed. Ultrasonic, I got that from Amazon. Then I've got my Elegoo Mars 2 3D printer. I use that quite a bit. And I've got the Elegoo curing station that goes with it. They were actually fairly cheap, but work very awesome. Then of course, more stuff for dioramas, doing trees and stuff like that. Bunch of clamps. You always need clamps. Different gauges of wire, all kinds of stuff. And I'm just using thumbtacks to put them on the wall. Bunch of magnetic bases and stuff like that, and extra jars. Now I've got a mount up here, and that's for a swing lamp, and I'll show you that in a bit. It's on the other bench. Of course, I've got my big tripod right there. And that's for doing stuff away from the bench. And I've got a small one way over there. Right there. Now it stands up as well, but it's nowhere near as big as this one. Now, as far as the painting goes, when I designed this YouTube room, I made sure I had power, and there's a switch there, and that switch operates a plug at the back. So if I want to turn this whole thing off quickly, I can, say if there's a problem or something. But I designed it in such a way, knowing that I was putting a paint booth right here, so I put a window here. All right, now I'll put a link in the description for this because I've built it and redesigned it. I'll show you in a second. So, air compressor. It's just a cheap one from Canadian Tire here in Canada. Airbrush holder from Amazon. It was 20 bucks. Airbrushes, well, if you get into airbrushing, you'll find different brushes that people use, and sometimes you just have to go through a bunch of them before you actually find the one that you like. That here, you'll have to wait for mail time. That's not what it is. Trust me, there's something else inside. Other than that, big flag on the wall. Dad sent me that. Thank you very much, Dad. I keep some of my tools here for the Elegoo and the printer and stuff like that. And that's kind of turned into a dumping ground. That will be a diorama that I will finish sooner or later. Now, as far as the paint booth, I got some of this corrugated plastic. It's almost like cardboard, but it's plastic. Okay, you can see it's just like cardboard, but it's plastic. Now, this is old signboard that you see in front of businesses, like the hardware stores and things like that. So sometimes if you go talk to these people after their sale is done or whatever, and they change their sign, a lot of them just take this and either throw it in the garbage, or they have a whole stack of this stuff out back in the backyard somewhere. So talk to your hardware stores and department stores, things like that, that have these types of signs, and you might be able to get it for free or very, very cheap. And that's what I built this with. As you can see, this is just a plain furnace filter, and I used some foam that you put around copper piping for insulating that. Put some magnets on the backside. All right, magnets on the backside, magnets on the wall, and that's where it goes. Now I have 3 computer fans back there, and that's how it's all done. Now, it didn't originally have tinfoil on here, and I have to finish up this wiring. It's not done because of the retrofit that I did to it. So when I turn my fan on, which you can hear there, I open the window and it blows it right outside. Done. Okay, now there's the fans. It runs on 12 volts, so I had to Had to buy a power box for that, but not a big deal. And 12 volt LEDs. Now I also got this from Amazon, which is a temperature control module. Now I added some more LEDs and a heat lamp. Now this turns the heat lamp on. You'll see that all in the video if you go watch the link that I'm going to put for you. And of course, to turn this into a dehydrator, I call it my easy bake oven. And us older people will know exactly what that means. Tin foil to reflect the heat back works great. I took this dollar store foam core board, put tin foil on the back side, and I just put it in there when I need to use it. There you guys. Now, for the other side of the room, you saw a little bit of already. Stereo and stuff, printer, one of my diorama models. You know, pretty cool. But anyways, that's where I keep all my models, and that's actually all I have. Slowly working on it. They've gotten a lot more expensive since, I was 12. But anyways, and yes, I am in Canada, and I do like the New Jersey Devils. So anyways, I've got a window there. Now, these TV screens, and yes, I keep walking around my lazy boy here. These TVs, this one and that one, were at one time right here, right? The big one was kind of covering part of the window in there, and my smaller screen was right beside it, and this is where I sat. Because at the time, I was thinking that I wanted to be able to look out my window, right? Whenever I wanted to. Over here is my workstation. Now, over time working, and you'll find this, you need to rearrange so that things are more practical and user-friendly for what you're doing. So, my TV and my screen got turned so that they are beside my workstation. Now, the main reason for that is anytime I went live, I would have to take my monitor from here and turn it around, pull this thing out, and put my monitor on that so that I could see what I was doing, because that paint shelf, I'll show you in a second, that paint shelf used to sit right here. So it was kind of like a square right here, right? So I couldn't just turn the monitor around because the paint shelf was in the way and I couldn't see it. So I had to put it here, sit there. And if you're working and you're trying to read comments and stuff, you're constantly back and forth. Sorry if that's making you dizzy, but it wasn't very efficient. So things got moved around. Okay. Now, up on the wall, I have my clock that I put LEDs in. I have all my Detail Master stuff. Here, I'm going to move my chair out of the way for a second. So I've got stuff from Off the Sprue. I don't know if you can see that, but anyways, I got stuff from Off the Sprue. I got stuff from Detail Master, all the way up. I got it, all my evergreen. I got a bunch of it back here, So to make storage easier, it's all pinned on the wall. So that's always a good idea, if you can, pin stuff on the wall. I'm just fixing my light here since I moved it around. Now this light, actually, you can see LED lights. It's just swinging away here. Give me a second. Okay, these lights here, they're just LED lights. They're meant for utility trailers, and they're 12 volt. So of course, up on the wall there, you can see it. I'll move it here a bit. Up there is a 12 volt inverter that you hook up to your mains, and you just run your wires to it. Now this one here also actually came with a switch. So down here on the bench, I got a switch. So I can turn it on and off as I want, right? So that helps with lighting here. As far as that, before I made that, I had one desk lamp. Now I just use so I can see my styrene and my paints, and I'll show you them better in a minute. And then I've got this swing lamp. Now, remember the base on the wall on the other side? Over there? That little black dot? That is what this is. So I can actually take this lamp, anytime I want to use it, I can put it up there, plug it in, and I've got awesome light over there. But I am going to be making another one of these to hang from the ceiling. So I got that type of light there. And all they are is the old fluorescent lighting in a building. Painted the inside white so it's nice and clean again. Painted the outside black. And then you just use the two-way tape or whatever to put your lights in, wire it up, and away you go. Right? Now, I do electronics, and this corner is a freaking mess, but again, these little drawer slides, they're awesome to have. You can pick them up at quite a few different hardware stores and stuff like that. This here has all my electronic stuff, you know, like capacitors, you know, all kinds of, you know, transistors, resistors, you know, salvage stuff, brand new stuff, all kinds of things. There's more in there. Soldering station, homemade power station for testing electronics and stuff, and that's just an old computer power supply. I've got 3 or 4 of those. Containers from the dollar store for holding all my different LEDs and other components. Same thing with these ones. These are all resistors. You know, just different little storage containers that can help you out store everything. When I sit here, I don't do a whole lot in this spot, so that's why it's kind of a mess, and I don't do a whole lot of electronics at the moment. And then I've got another drawer right here. Now this is just some model stuff in the bottom. Some of the tools, you know, like my jewelry saws and coping saws, 3D pen stuff. You know, this one here is, you know, small lathe, some other tools and flashlights. Now these things, if I can pull it out, it just slides out. Here, I got these things from the dollar store as well, and they're just compartments. I got 2 of them. And I just have old bodies and stuff in them. Try to separate everything. You know, keep things organized as much as possible. Right, and they stack, you know, all kinds of engine parts and doodads and this and that. This one here, I've got all kinds of wheels and stuff. There is for my bits and everything for the Dremel. The Dremel is just right here. It hangs on this little stand, and I got this from Amazon. And yeah, it works great. When I need it, I plug it in. You just plug it in right there. I get a power bar. Now this thing, this is all styrene. It's got a little bit of aluminum tube and stuff in it. It was mainly styrene rods and stuff. All my sheets are up on the wall there. So I built this. Again, I'll put a link down in the description showing you how I did this. It's cardboard tube, an old container, one of these. I just got it from the dollar store. Toilet paper tubes, paper towel tubes, and I cut them down, hot glued them together, hot glued them in, and there you go. You've got site storage bin. Real cheap. Other than the cost of the paper towels and stuff and your toilet paper, and having to wait to collect enough of them, but if you're a crafter, you should have them around anyways. So I'm looking at, you know, in a sense, $30, but because you had to buy all your paper towels, but really, you guys are throwing these things out all the time anyways, so a couple bucks, you've got this thing made. Now, piece of the shelf, you know, it's a piece there. It's actually the rest of that one, because that's only 3. Those are supposed to stack on top. Now, my paint rack. Okay, I've got dollar store craft paints. I got some Vallejos, some of my testers, enamel and acrylic. I'm starting to collect my all clad and everything else. Obviously, dollar store paint, it's cheap. You'll collect your stash of paints over time. Now, the rack that they're on, again, I'll put a link down in the description for you. but that's made out of foam core board. So maybe $3 or $4 worth of foam core from the dollar store. You can have yourself a nice little storage rack. You make it to the dimensions you need to fit your needs. Now, of course, the top, I just throw stuff on top of it and away I go. All right. Now for the next drawer. So what we've got in this one is all the main stuff I use all the time: clippers, scissors, some chisels, my main tape and stuff, Tamiya tape, masking tape, some epoxy putty there, toothpicks, extra blades. All right. Next drawer down, I've got, extra paint brushes, a razor saw, some other type of green stuff, epoxy putties, extra glues. Again, your paint bottle or your medicine bottles, look at this. I've got all kinds of different types of chain: black chain, gold chain, bronze chain. I use it for different things in dioramas. I've got safety pins in some. I got regular ball pins and different things like that. I got some Bondo putty for filling cracks and stuff. Extra super glue. Can never have enough super glue for some reason. Next one down, I've got shrink wrap and stuff for doing like wiring, roll cage padding, stuff like that. I got some more flocking and stuff here. Extra Tamiya paints. Whole bunch of mini drill bits. Those micro bits. Extra paint. I got some aluminum foil tape that I use for trim and stuff on the vehicles. Now, even the dollar store has hot glue guns, so even your tools don't have to be expensive, okay? Try to stay away from the dollar store tack, poster tack stuff. It's garbage. But hot glue sticks are from the dollar store. Now, in these little jars, I got the jars from the dollar store, and I got the chalk pastels from the dollar store. So you can grind these chalk pastels up, and you can use them for shading and dust and stuff like that on dioramas. Sometimes even cars, if you're doing like rusty cars or something. You got all kinds of colors. I think there's like 52 colors or something like that. So, I mean, that was fairly cheap. So really, what's in this box? Well, I've got maybe $12 worth of tools, jars, and chalk pastels, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it. Hell, even some of the masking tape comes from dollar store. This comes from the dollar store, but you can pick it up at your drugstore. This is just cotton swabs, right? Again, stapler from the dollar store, extra wiring, more super glue. This here is whiteboard line. It's like a tape. It's like you can get it in different sizes, 1, 2, and 3 mil, I think it is. They use it on whiteboards in school to make like grids and stuff like that. It's just black tape. Good for masking. Anyways, I made my own, in a sense, micromark chopping station. So I've got this, I use this as a guide or whatever. You can put big pieces in, small pieces. You can move your ruler around, right? Works great. I mean, it's just a steel ruler from the dollar store. I picked these clamps up from Amazon. They were like $10 or something like that. And an old piece of wood, a couple screws. Done. You've got one of those chopping blocks. Again, another dollar store glue gun. These are those sanding sticks. I got them from Amazon. And it came with 5 packs, not so much random, but kind of random sticks in it. They're different gradients, so you kind of got to figure out what they are on your own. They don't really tell you, but that's typical from Amazon. Anyways, that's that stuff. I mean, it's cheap, it's easy, and you don't have to buy expensive tools. You just don't. So anyways, that's that. Maybe I should put the rest of this stuff away. Stop being a Make sure you always put your stuff away so you can find it again where it's supposed to be. Okay, next. Now for the main bench. For the main bench, I got these drawers. These drawers are from the dollar store, again. And here's like all my lead wire rolls, pin vise and mini drill bits. Some of my sandpaper, sanding sticks, and I've got some more sanding sticks over here, which come from the dollar, or from Amazon, sorry. Great little sanding sticks to have. One drawer is for markers, pencils, pens. Here is the sharp drawer and some tweezers, so it's all my knives, things like that. Up here, some miscellaneous and overstock, you know, some extra blades, Tamiya putty, lighter, things like that. On this side, I've got some hardwire, you know, different things like that. Some useless resin prints and stuff that I haven't figured out what to do with yet. Odds and ends, some Lego pieces and old model parts and stuff. This one I've got some steel balls in there and some needle tips. Here I get these odds and end cutoffs from Amazon, and it's brass, aluminum, and copper. This is all tubing, the smaller stuff, and you know, all kinds of tubes and rods there. And of course the bigger stuff, you know. But yeah, that keeps everything real nice and neat. XPS foam works great for storage. And here's what I mean. I've got drill bits stuck into it. I've got punches and things like that stuck into it. And of course, files on the wall. Great place to put them. This paint rack, again, I can put a link in the description for you. I needed something for all of my Tamiya paints that I've been slowly collecting. Now these are pretty much all the LP line, which are the lacquer. I've got a couple acrylics in there. I'm more partial to the lacquers and the enamels, but you know, I've got well, hell, even a cell phone holder right there, right? Do you see what it is? It's an old outside plug cover. That's all it is. It's an outside plug cover, so you can adjust it whatever way you want, you know. And I put a steel rod here so that I can either put my phone on an angle that way, or I can stand it up, whichever way I want, right? So there's that. But anyways, I keep my glue here. Some of my paint thinners, brushes, things like that. That candle is warm on the back of the hand. This here, again, foam core board. I designed it after some of these wood ones that you can buy that are quite expensive. And I said, well, you know what? I don't have that type of money. So I designed one that fits my needs, the spacing I need. I can put some models down in the bottom. I made it high enough that I can, you know, put storage in there. There's the Nova I'm working on. There's videos out for that if you guys want to see it. There should be more videos coming for that one as well. So it makes it very simple, very easy to, you know, get them. I made it so that they're 2 jars deep. So if you want to double up every paint, or, you know, each row has however many paints, and away you go. Medicine bottles. Now, most of us have parents that have medicine, even your own self, you know, sick, whatever. Keep all the medicine bottles you can find. Now here, I've got these medicine bottles. I got a bunch of them all the same, and this is keeping my 30 gauge wire in it. So I spooled it all up, pulled the center wire out, and as I need it, I just pull it out. So I've got all the different colors up there. You know, works great. Now, what I am still looking for is one of these holders that holds these square bottles, because I keep knocking them over, and those things aren't the cheapest here in Canada. So, anybody's got any ideas on where I can get those little square holders that I see everybody have them? I'm interested in buying them, but I'll most likely make something out of balsa wood. So that's this paint rack. There's that paint rack. Very cheap, easy to make to fit where you need it to fit. So go check those videos out, and those should help you out quite a bit. Now, again, like I was saying, there's my live stream camera. Here's where I work. Now, when I go live stream, I can work here and look at what I'm doing. I can even have a movie on if I want, and I'm not moving my head or my eyes far from where I'm working. Instead of sitting here trying to work and looking over here, because I have this pulled out and I had that screen sitting on top of it to do live streams or whatever. And as you can see, that's inefficient. So there's an idea there. As far as my headphones, that runs a cord over to my computer. I have made my own booster for it. I made my own amplifier booster. So my headphones are plugged into it. I just turn it on and it's got a volume control on it. And yeah, it's great for listening to music or whatever else. So when I want to get comfy, there's my footstool. I sit in my recliner chair, or I sit in my office chair, which reclines back like so. I put my feet up and I watch a video. So I'm hoping that some of the stuff I've shown you here today can inspire you and help you design what you need to be able to work in either a tight space or just maximize the space that you already have. You don't need a lot of money to do this hobby, other than to be able to buy the actual models. They've gotten really expensive since I was 12 years old. But either way, there isn't a whole lot that you need to be able to do these models. You need some basic paints, some basic tools. You need nothing fancy at all. But the main thing you need to do is just have fun and enjoy the hobby. Without that, it's not worth doing it. So everybody that does models or any type of crafting, hopefully my videos helped you out here a bit. Enjoy the rest of the videos and the links in the description down below. Let me know if you have any ideas. Let me know in the comments below if any of it's helped you out. Again, hit that like button and please hit that subscribe button. I really enjoyed sharing my office with you today. I hope you guys get into the craft or are already in the craft and are having fun with it. So from me to you, have fun, create awesome stuff. And until next time, later.